YOLO composing gloves here, and this is a vlog. I've never done a vlog. I'm just gonna kind of talk. I don't know how long this is gonna be. If this gets popular, great. If not, I'll be at NAMM. I want to start with that. So I'll be at NAMM. If you're at NAMM, come say hi to me because that's really cool that you're at NAMM too. So I'll be at the Acusonus booth. I'll be showing off Acusonus plugins. That's why I've sort of been doing all the Acusonus stuff, is because I want to get some practice and get familiar with the plugins. They actually, I don't even think they know I have a YouTube channel, which is ironic. I have connections in other ways because of my schooling at Citrus College that have just led to gigs in other places. So this is one of the gigs I wound up with. And so yeah, I'll be there. Acusonus booth, check it out. I don't remember what hall I'm in. I believe it's hall 1 or hall A or something like that. I'll be in one of those halls. So I added squats to my workout this week and my legs feel like they're on fire. And that's because when I did my first 10, I'm a runner. I can run 16 miles, no problem. I can do it. But, and hill workouts, whatever, you know, I'm a distance runner. That's what I do. So I've been doing upper body workouts for a while now. And I've gotten a lot better. I've seen a lot of progress in a lot of different areas. And I have my own sort of philosophy of how I do things. And I've done research and talked to others. And one of the things I do is I progressively make things slightly more difficult. And just over the course of years, eventually I'll be doing just these crazy workouts because I've progressively built to them. And I have like rest days. I have this whole system thing. I can tell you more about it if you want to know more about it in some other video. But this week I decided to add squats because I don't have a leg exercise yet besides running. So I was like, okay, I'm going to add squats. And then I was like, how many squats should I do? So I decided to add 3 sets of 10, and I do four sets of all these exercises. So that count adds up to 120 squats. I did it Monday, no big deal. Tuesday I did it, which is today, and my legs are feeling it, man. Which it's just because it's a new exercise. That's the only reason. Usually it's not that big a deal, but when it's a new exercise, then your muscle group isn't used to being like deliberately worked out like that, you just feel it for the first like week or 2 weeks. So I'm in that stage right now. So I've taken approximately 8,500 steps. I wear a Fitbit. So I've taken about that many steps. I feel every single one of those friggin' steps. So anyways, today is also the first day of Fullerton. So when I woke up, I did this workout thing. And I also, I finally put the case on this little oscilloscope that I purchased a long time ago. So I purchased this oscilloscope for like $40 because it's so much more expensive to buy a nice oscilloscope for because anywhere in the range of like $300 to $800 get a scope. You can get way more expensive scopes than that. But I imagine the next scope I'll need will be in that range. And that's because I switched my major to electrical engineering. Because I have a degree in music. I have a couple degrees in music actually, but none of them are like bachelors. The reason for this is because the artistic degrees are pretty easy. Like I've had a ton of experience outside of schooling and a lot of private instruction, along with a ton of like actual schooling experience and working and actual work experience. And I'd like to get a music degree, but I feel like I could utilize my school opportunity better going for electrical engineering with a focus on sound and digital signal processing, because that's really what I want to know how to do. It's the reason why when I was declared as a music major and had no intention of being an electrical engineering major, I was reading all these math books because I wanted to know how filters work and I wanted to know how this works, and I had gotten into these engineering topics, and so it made more sense for me to do this thing. I can outline that in another video if you're more curious. I could go through all these because I've taken a ton of classes now. This is ridiculous. So anyways, I put this thing on, this scope, and there's this white smudge. And this white smudge was not here this morning. If I turn it around, it's clear. This is what it was like. Now there's a smudge, and I'm pretty sure I know what this smudge comes from. I'm pretty sure this smudge is from super glue. So I super glued the screen down because the screen was moving all over. And this case, you might not, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like 3 layers and there's a set of washers. It is just a lot of pieces to undo to get to the smudge. I'm not sure if I'm going to get rid of the smudge, because if it doesn't grow anymore, then it's not really in the way of my screen, so I don't care that much. But at the same time, this case took a while to put together. I had to follow a tutorial because I was like, this is crazy. Where is a tutorial on how to put this together? So I followed a tutorial on how to put it together, and it's a really nice looking case, which is why I feel like, so I don't know if anyone else has had more experience with super glue. Is this a thing that when you do this, did you get this too? Maybe I should have let it dry for longer. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I did my exercise and my legs are on fire. Went to work. I work at a tutor center and I get shot a bazillion questions. I am right now, I've taken every math class offered at Citrus. And so that's all the way up through differential equations. And I'm like, currently I'm going through other stuff, sort of like specialist math. I could definitely go further in linear and differentials right now. But that's what I've done. So there I'm hired and I teach all the any music course. I can do that, but I always get the math people. So I get tons of math, mostly statistics, because most students are trying to end their math career on stats, which is kind of a bummer. I'm always trying to inspire people. Some people just really hate math, and it's just because of their experience with it. So I try to sort of change that as much as possible. Some people though are really set. They just want to hate math. They don't want to change their mind. So anyways, I help them with that. And when I go there at the beginning, I'm always like, all right, let's answer some questions. And I just we just walk around. And because I do so many subjects, when a tutor, because there's like 4 or 5 tutors, when one tutor doesn't know how to answer a question or doesn't know how a particular instructor teaches it, they will call over another tutor who does know, or might be more familiar with that instructor, or might be able to explain it in some different way. I think our tutor center at Citrus honestly smashes Fullerton's tutoring centers, which is kind of like weird to me, because Fullerton's, the 4-year university and Citrus is the JC, but Citrus has got their tutor center down to science, man. So anyways, I remember when I only taught algebra, that's all I knew. And I've gone through all the classes. It's kind of crazy seeing it's pretty cool to understand the higher maths to a degree, some of them. And now I just get asked a million questions, and I'm constantly being called over and being like, oh, how would you do this? How would you do that? How would you do this? And when there's not that many people there, it's nice to be able to sit down and take your time with a student and help them see things. But when you just have a bunch of people who all want to know how to do something, and there's like you and one other person who tutor stats, and you're outnumbered like 10 to 1, that can just be a real bummer, because I feel like sometimes it's just like, I wish I could shed more light on a topic. I almost want to give the lecture, but I'm told not to lecture. I'm supposed to just help them understand how to solve the problem and offer insights on why things are true. And sometimes you kind of lecture a little, because sometimes you just have to explain a principle like all the way. There's none of this like, I don't know. I feel like I help students a lot more sometimes when I answer questions they didn't know they had. And it's obvious because they get, where they get stuck. I don't know. Anyways, I always feel a little fried after that. So I have about a 3-hour drive to Fullerton, which can be really stressful if you go at the wrong time, because it can be up to 2 hours. That's only happened like once or twice. Usually the drive's only a half hour. If you leave at the right time, the drive is short. But if you leave at the wrong time, the drive becomes way longer. So I try to leave at the right time. I get to Fullerton, and today was the first day of school at Fullerton. It was less impressive than my first day ever at Fullerton, because there were just so many students. There were way less students. And I got to Fullerton. I don't have to pay for parking because it's like $250, and the parking lots are like all far away from every building. Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of their parking scheme, but I personally think it's a ripoff, especially when you look at other colleges' parking costs. Maybe there's some weird taxing or policy. I think it's just the man. But anyways, I go to, I'm Mormon, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I go to that church, and they have an institute. This, by the way, is not exclusive to Mormons. It's just, since I'm Mormon, I know about this already. So they have these institutes where if you take a religious class there, they study like one of the scriptural books, they will give you free parking. And there's always parking, because that's the other thing. Not only do you pay an outrageous amount of money for parking, you have to find a spot to park in. And then that's like rarely available. You see these people who've spent all this money and they still can't park somewhere. That really frustrates me. But anyways, I'm not in that category because I signed up for this religious class, and I go in, and you can study at the Institute anyways, and it's basically like a way more legit library because they've got like a ping pong table and a kitchen with a fridge and microwaves. This one has 3 microwaves. I was like, what? Because the one at Citrus only had like 1 microwave. And half the time the kitchen was locked anyway. This one's got like you can just do all kinds of stuff in this one. They've got a pool table. This is an older institute, and so they've sort of like tricked this one out a little bit. And the teacher is awesome. His name's Brother Tolly, by the way. He's a great teacher. He's got some degrees that make him just fascinating to learn from, because he'll bring up all these different dead languages and things and the translations, and he's taking all these other classes. So it's really cool to have him as a teacher. Institute instructors don't always have degrees like he does. So I feel like I'm like really getting a lot out of what he's saying. But anyways, I go to a class there, I get my parking for free, and it's ironically, if better in most cases than the actual paid parking. Just so you know, check out an institute if your college has outrageous parking you want to try and bypass. The institutes will vary in how aggressively they try to convert you. So I really like this one because they don't really try. They just let you experience it. And then, you know, if the Spirit speaks, then the Spirit speaks. And you have an experience and so on and so forth. It's all, you know, in its due course of time, all natural and stuff. Some institutes I've been to, they're very aggressive towards converting anyone who's not a member. I don't bring people sometimes because I was so worried that like they would have an experience that was just not necessary. So anyways, institute. There's a lot of dynamics there. I really like the Fullerton one. I like the Citrus one a lot too. Those two I really like those. Anyways, got there. I get there always a couple hours early just because the drive is I'd rather spend a half hour driving and 3.5 hours studying than an hour and a half driving and then going straight to class. Like that, to me, I'm going to do the same stuff at my house or at Citrus as I would at Fullerton. So I might as well be there. And I bring all my food in the bag because as soon as I leave home, I'm pretty much gone all day. Went to Fullerton. My first class was first I had to find where this class was. And the second semester, I kind of know where stuff is now. So it's the computer science building. This building's all the way across campus. So I was like, okay, I better leave a half hour before so I can walk all the way across campus. Fullerton's not as big as other campuses. So I'm walking, and this is the first day there's new people there, right? It's spring semester too. So that's like a lot of people are going to be there. But they've been doing this construction, and the construction has made everything really confusing on where you can walk and not walk because they have fences everywhere. And they were doing this before, near the end of last semester. So I was already kind of ready. I knew where I was going, no problem. But they had no info booth that I could see anywhere near any of the construction, which is where a lot of classes were going down. There were a lot of classes in a building that you could not get to except a certain construction route. And they had no info booth, which I thought was hilarious. And I got to the other side of campus where no construction was happening, and there was an info booth. And that's where almost no one enters the campus. They all come from the other side because that's where all the parking lots are. Or they come from the 2 sides. It depends on, because if you're like the music people, right, they'll park in a different lot because it's closer to other stuff versus science people. But anyways, I thought that was hilarious. And it might have been I was there later in the day because sometimes they close the info booths, which I think that's silly too because new people have night classes. It's not like they don't need the information too. So I got there. There are these 2 towers, 2 buildings. One's called the engineering tower, one's called the computer science tower. Mine's on the 4th floor of the computer science building. So of course, naturally, I walk up to the 4th floor of the engineering building instead of the computer science building. So I would go back down all these stairs, and I almost always take the stairs because the elevators take forever, but this time wasn't that bad actually. And I like it because it gives me the staircases. I can keep track now, so I'm just gonna own everyone on staircases because last semester I had a floor. I must have gone up and down 6 flights of stairs, probably 3 to 4 times a day. Well, I guess it'd have to be an even number. 4 times a day unless to take an elevator. So anyways, got to my class. And first day, right, got no email. I have to drive from my house, and I come really early because of all these ridiculous traffic deals I just have to be aware of. It's just because of where I live. So I come early, been waiting, and there's all of us waiting. The guy doesn't show. Not only this, but when I registered for my classes, they don't tell me who my instructor is until like the week before. You know how uncool that is? I want to research my professor. I don't want a freaking professor who has ridiculously negative reviews and then just get stuck with them. Like, so this, I don't know. I was very angry that I did not know who any of my teachers were until then. That's not the way it should be. I should have the ability to look through and at least make an educated decision, because maybe I will make a personal sacrifice to go to a particular instructor because I like that instructor's teaching style. I should be allowed to do that. So I think that's silly that Fullerton is not on their game about their schedules. But I don't know. Maybe there's some legitimate reason. I doubt it though, because this is the first time this has ever happened to me. And it's as soon as I started going towards the major classes. So maybe it's once you go to the more serious classes, gets all loosey-goosey just because they don't have the same number of teachers and student demand as they used to. I don't know. Anyways, got there, teacher didn't show, was very angry because that's 3 hours. So I went to another room. It was an open lab. I've never gone in. I basically just walked in some room that had the door open, and I saw students just in there randomly with no teacher. I was like, hey, can I work in here? And they were like, sure, it's an open lab and you just sign in and you can just do stuff in there. I was like, great, cool. That's the way, if you're new to college, don't be scared to walk into random rooms that look like resources. Because usually they are resources and they're there for you to take advantage of. This was one of them. Now I know about it, and it's really great because it stays open way later than the Student Success Center, which is basically kind of like a really lame version of the tutor center. That's a really weird center because there's like tutors who walk around and help you, but there's only like one tutor usually, and there's counseling cubicles in the same room. So they're all talking about their future schedules and stuff. I've had a lot of actually insightful eavesdropping in there, but it's because they talk so loud. So I don't know. That's just a strange room to me. But it's good. You're productive. You get help. It's just if there's a lot of people, you're not going to get help because there's not nearly enough tutors. I don't know. It's a whole nother deal. Anyways, this other room stayed open later. I made this really weird beat in FL Studio because I was like, oh, I'll work in FL for a little while. So I made this really weird funk beat. I was like starting with something normal, and then I was like, oh, there's this cool sound. I got all weird and distracted by making cool sounds, and I wound up with a weird thing. At the end, I was like, this is kind of cool. Heck, here it is. I'll play it for you right now. So I was like, this is kind of cool, but kind of strange and out there. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep with it. Maybe I'm probably going to drop it. I was like, oh, I really wish I'd listened to some music and gotten a better idea, because I kind of just went in there and started screwing around until something happened. So, you know, you're going to go in weird directions when you do that. Anyways, went up. And so we're waiting. I'm waiting for this next class that also is a lab. So both of these are labs. The first one's computer architecture and whatnot. I don't know. So I'm ready for it. Whatever it is, bring it on. And then the second class is a MATLAB class, and I'm really excited about the MATLAB. I've actually already done several online training sessions, and I'm already kind of familiar with MATLAB. So go into this MATLAB class, which thankfully isn't canceled. And we actually went down to the electrical engineering department lady, secretary people, and we said, dude, man, bro, you told us there was going to be the class today, because we actually checked. We said, the lab today is happening, right? And she was like, yeah. So we told her, and they didn't send an email. And I wanted, like, that's an email I need to get, because I don't want to drive all the way out to frickin' school only to find out my class is canceled. I need to drive home because traffic at 5 going back is way worse than traffic going 2. Like that's a 2-hour drive back if I leave anywhere near there. So I would have to stay there until like 9. The drive will literally drop to like a half hour. So like I want that email. I don't want to be driving out for no reason. So we actually we kind of tattled on the professor because there were 3 or 4 of us who were angry because several other students lived out where I lived. And so apparently, they're supposed to send those things. It's not okay that they don't. So they're gonna get a message, I guess. And also the fact that they didn't show on the first day that's supposed to be the syllabus day and set the outline, and especially since there's a drop deadline on freaking Monday that tells you, if this teacher's weird and you get bad vibes. Like teachers can't just miss the first day of class like this guy did. So I don't know. That guy, I don't know. That was messed up. But the other guy showed up and we made her promise that someone was going to be there. So this guy shows up and he's like, oh, okay, so we're here for the MATLAB class. I'm on your list, but I'm not going to be your teacher. I'm going to find someone else. And but the thing is he's Asian and I mentioned that because his accent was incredibly dense. Like normally I am pretty dang good at understanding accents as far as figuring out what I need to figure out, because I watch a lot of videos where the people teaching in the video just have a thick accent. This guy's accent was mega thick, and most of the students were having a hard time understanding him. So he was talking and I'm just catching as many words as I can. Like he said the word syllabus, but he said it I thought it was some other word like soul bowling or something. It did not sound like syllabus at all. And it took me about the 3rd time till I finally figured out. It's kind of entertaining because you're sitting there just trying to understand what he's saying. And I'm like, this is going to be my teacher. This is a problem because I can't understand what he's saying. And we actually had these radical desks where you lift up a lid and you pull the monitor out from inside the desk. And then when you're done, you put it back in. And the computers were really fast. I brought my laptop because I do not trust school computers anymore. I kind of trust these ones. We were doing stuff and things loaded like that. They were really quick. So I was really happy actually with the computers. And he was teaching and I kind of want to stay with him because I could understand a fair portion of what he was saying. Every now and then I'd be a little concerned because his ideas were really scattered, but he was so, he spoke with a lot of emotion. It was really quite entertaining. He would draw a function, he's explaining how to just print hello world in MATLAB. And so the class today was really, really easy because I was doing other stuff while I was in there. I was trying to make noise signals and then plot them and then rotate them in a 3-dimensional axis. That's what this kind of stuff I'm messing with. The guy next to me was following along very faithfully. He was writing down everything the instructor wrote, but it was super basics, C++ kind of stuff. Display, printf, stuff like that. So he's explaining that, but when he writes it, he's like, I will do this. And then he does this hand motion and then looks at the class. I was like, this guy's great. I can't understand everything he's saying, but I like this guy. So, and the class doesn't look like it's going to be all that terrible. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably stay with this, but I don't know. I'm curious to see who our other instructor apparently is going to be. And there's the online resources for the class. So he did a couple of things I'm not okay with. For example, he shows the syllabus by going to his online portal and showing us it. And then when we ask, hey, that's not available on our online portal and it's supposed to be, when it would be up there, he says, I don't know. That's not okay. That should be available to us because the textbook's on there. What kind of textbook do I need to buy? Oh, it's there. And he gave several reference books. So he's like, these books would be nice to have to reference if you want to. And then we have no access to it. And all the PowerPoints and everything he's using, he's like, oh yeah, you'll have access to this. And then we totally don't have access to it. And you talk to them and it's you don't? What's wrong with you? That's what's wrong with you? Freaking open up the passwords or the links or whatever. I don't know. It was a whole, yeah. I have feelings about this kind of stuff, but overall it was fine. We went over the super basic, assigning variables, just simple stuff. So, and we actually did plot a little bit of data at the end, but I'm excited to sort of get into the more interesting things. He was talking by the end of the semester, I guess we'll be doing animations in MATLAB, which it sounds cool. Some of the graphs do this automatically. So I have a feeling it's going to be open up this extension and just change these knobs. It'll be me figuring out a plugin. So I'm I'm not so sure this is going to be worth it. But it's a class that's required for my major, and I really, really want to learn MATLAB well. So, you know, there's that. And it'll be an easy class to balance out some of the more difficult ones. Like I'm taking a physics class this semester. Anyways, I've been talking for a while. Drive home was nice. Now I'm here and I'm talking to you guys. And if you listen to this whole thing, wow, you're really something special. You should drop a comment about your favorite part. I don't know. Would you guys be interested in more of these? Do you want to know about something specific? I'm open to doing some more vlogs. If you have any questions, you let me know. Have a blessed day.